Hey everybody, it is Dean Z speaking to you from my basement, and today I want to talk to you about diversity statements, by which I mean the optional essays that some schools invite you to submit as part of their overall admissions materials. Let's start with, what do we mean by diversity? So literally, diversity just means differing one from another, but it is tied up in many people's mind, particularly in the admissions context, with race and ethnicity. Why? I think it is because, number one, the Supreme Court case law that has to do with the admissions process and is all about the question of when is race properly utilized and what are the parameters about what you can and can't do. And in that case law, the theory that the court has rested on for why you can sometimes take race into account is the theory of diversity. They say schools want to have a diverse class and they want it to be racially diverse in order to be able to meaningfully address important issues of race in the classroom. And therefore, diversity, I think, has become very much linked with the idea of race specifically. I will acknowledge here that many people think diversity is a very bad theory for the court to have used from a social justice perspective, but that is for some brilliant constitutional law scholar to get into rather than me. I am your admissions lady. So let's get back to the admissions topic. Okay, so it's linked up mentally, I think, with race, but that is certainly not the full scope of what people are talking about when they are talking about diversity in the admissions context, or at least that's not the full scope of what admissions officers are talking about. I will say that it is important that you, and this is always true, but that you read whatever the prompt is for a school. So it is possible that some school will specify something quite narrow in what they're looking for, but in general, the topics that I have seen, the way they are written, they tend to be broad, and schools mean that. Why do they mean that? Why do they care about all forms of diversity? Well, it's not really all forms. It's all forms that will have a bearing on the law school classroom. So there's certainly ways that you might be different, distinct from the average law school applicant that isn't really worth writing a diversity statement about. What's a good example? Let's say you went gray. I think I am thinking of this because I can see the little gray in my hair there. Anyway, COVID hair is really a thing. Anyway, suppose you went gray when you were 18. That is unusual, but it's probably not going to be anything that needs to be aired in a law school classroom. It's just not going to be relevant. So you would not be well served by writing an essay on that topic. As with all writing that you are doing for admissions, and I guess in the world, you should have a point. And the point of the diversity essay is, how will your voice contribute in an important way to the conversation that occurs in a law school classroom? So obviously, a huge part of the development of our legal system has had to do with race and distinctions based on race. Ergo, race is a topic that many people will want to write their diversity statement about. But there are many other things that are relevant in a law school classroom too. So gender, for example, LGBTQ status, religion. These are all topics that come up a lot in law. Other topics might be, something about your academic background. So math majors, engineers, science majors, they tend to approach problems differently than liberal arts majors. And so that can be an interesting topic. Particular experiences you have had as opposed to a category that you are part of. That can be something illuminating for a diversity statement, but it should all get back to the point of, how are you going to be adding to the classroom dialogue? Or another valid way of thinking about this would be about like, what are you going to be adding to the profession? But again, it's about your voice, like what will be productive about having you be part of the profession, and why will that be good? What are you representing that is new and different and helpful as we think about our profession? And so I should say here too that when we are talking about race, obviously being white, which I am, is a race, but that's not a great topic for a diversity statement because it is not actually adding anything new to the profession. The profession is pretty white. So, that is not giving you a distinct and new sort of voice. So that can be something helpful to think about when you are thinking about this. Another area might be viewpoint diversity, right? So thinking about like your political beliefs and how will that add to the classroom. But in all cases, you want to be thinking about, how you'll be moving the conversation forward. One thing you need to be cautious about. Often people will start the diversity statement by saying, I may not seem very diverse because I am a white cisgendered male, yada, yada, yada. And then they'll go on to the thing that, that they do want to talk about that they think makes them diverse. Just take out that whole first part. It sounds defensive. It is a waste of space, and it's just not a strong beginning. So I think people do that because they are struggling with writing it and they feel self-conscious. So I would say examine that impulse. If you are writing this essay and it feels awkward and it feels unnatural and it feels like you're saying something that nobody else is going to want to read, listen to that impulse, right? There is no sense in forcing it. It is very painful when you're an admissions officer reading an essay on any topic that you can tell has been forced and that didn't really come from a natural place. I was going to say from the heart, but it doesn't have to come from the heart. Just some like authentic place. And in that case, if it's not coming from a natural place, that's when you should look at what other alternatives does a school offer if you want to write something additional beyond your personal statement. All right, I think that is all I have to say on that topic. I hope that's useful. Let's talk about grammar. And I'm actually not going to move too much off of the subject for a second because one of my real pet peeves is when people use the phrase diverse lawyer, like so-and-so is a diverse lawyer. You yourself cannot be diverse. You can add diversity to a group. So if it is a group of all male people, I will add some diversity by being a female. But I am not myself diverse. So don't use the word diverse in that meaning, because diverse means differing one from another, as I said at the very beginning of this. So an individual cannot themselves be diverse, but they can add diversity. You could also have a group that is diverse because there'll be lots of different kinds of people in the group. So that's an okay way to use diverse, but don't say diverse lawyer. And I feel very strongly about that. And I hope I have convinced you that you too should feel strongly. All right, that is a wrap. Everything I have to say on this topic for the moment. Thank you for watching. Please leave your comments and questions and additional thoughts below in the comments, or send an email to law.jd.admissions@umich.edu and put vlog in the subject line. And if you're interested, you may want to check out my vlog. And I'm also going to put a link to something I wrote on the subject of diversity in the admissions process about 1 million years ago, but maybe you'll find it interesting. All right. Thanks for listening, and thanks to Dustin, as always. And wherever you go, go blue.